Week 10 of the 2025 NFL season is officially in the books, and this week we had a number of really impressive victories. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Week 10 of the NFL season, giving my reaction and opinions to every game. Subscribe and like the video if you guys do go on to enjoy. Let's hop into it. And we are going to begin with the Denver Broncos defeating the Las Vegas Raiders 10-7. Insert sleeping meme. This was a pretty boring football game if you are an offensive guy. I like to think that offense is more fun than defense, but a good defensive matchup is always pretty fun too. This game had some good moments, but when you have a ball game that's 10-7, like, you know shit got pretty stinky. We had 3 turnovers. We had a combined 15 punts. We had a combined 20 first downs. We had 22 penalties. I mean, these were just two offenses that were completely stuck in mud. Give credit to both defenses here because they balled the F out. Multiple sacks, forcing punts, forcing bad third down conversion rates, forcing penalties, all that stuff. When it comes down to it, look, I don't know what Denver is offensively, but I do know they're an excellent defense. Do I think Denver's going to win a championship? No, I don't think they're a good enough offense right now because they're far too inconsistent. It's why I was a big fan of them potentially making a trade for another weapon to give Bo Nix some help. But at the same time, Bo Nix is not doing himself any favors either. He's missing some throws. He's not extremely accurate. His footwork looks bad at times. And sometimes he looks great, but other times he looks just straight up bad. So for Denver, I don't know. Keep an eye on that one because I thought he could have played a lot better. Las Vegas is a really bad defense, and they made the Raiders defense look really good. I thought Geno had a rough game. He got sacked multiple times. He was trying to force a couple things. They couldn't really run the football, so rough watch for Thursday Night Football. But a divisional win is a divisional win, and you will always take that 10 times out of 10. You would rather take an ugly win over an ugly loss. Next up, let's talk about the overtime morning thriller between the Indianapolis Colts and the Atlanta Falcons. When I was doing my predictions for week number 10, I did say that this game was going to be a little bit closer if the Falcons showed up. And that's what we've seen from this Falcons team. When the Falcons are playing good, they're a tough out. They are a really tough team that could beat the likes of the Buffalo Bills. But when the Falcons are not showing up and when they're playing bad, I mean, they get blown out by teams like Carolina. They're just a really inconsistent and bizarre football team. And that's exactly what we saw in this game where they showed up and they looked really good throughout the day. They were up for the majority of the game. It was a 17-13 ball game heading into the fourth quarter. They made Daniel Jones a little bit uncomfortable. Sorry, like we saw what the Steelers did to them last week. They forced 2 turnovers. One of them was an interception. One was a fumble. But the biggest thing, and I would say the most concerning thing if I am a Colts fan, 7 sacks on the day. And this is back-to-back weeks where the defensive line of the opposing team to Indianapolis really got after Daniel Jones. I mean, they were 2 for 12 on third down, 7 sacks allowed, had 7 penalties, a fumble, and an interception. Rough day for this Colts offense. However, when it mattered most, I thought Jonathan Taylor was effing fantastic per usual. I mean, this guy is running away with the Offensive Player of the Year award. 32 carries for just under 250 yards and in total 3 touchdowns. I thought Jones, when he was given time, made a lot of nice plays. But the offensive line has to play a lot better because when Daniel Jones starts to get that pressure and that internal clock gets hurried a little bit and he's not as comfortable, that's when you start to see flashes of that New York Giants Daniel Jones. But if you can give him time, he looks really good. So we'll see if the Giants can figure that stuff out. All in all, really good win for the Colts here, but you got to start to clean up this offensive line. You cannot give up 7 sacks. As for the Falcons, I thought Michael Penix had a rough day. 12 of 28, 177 yards and a touchdown. Not that great. The ground game was good, but they didn't really stick with it as much as I thought maybe they should have. 17 carries for Bijan, 11 carries for Tyler Algier. They were efficient when they were running the football, so we'll see if they can start doing that a little bit more. Drake London is looking impressive as hell. 6 for 104 and a touchdown. He's making a ton of plays out there. Coming off of last week where he was just completely dominant, he looked really good out there today. And defensively speaking, I mean, this was a really impressive showing from this defensive line and from this front 7. Jalen Walker had a sack. Arnold Ebiketie had a sack. Brandon Dorlus, Zach Harrison. I mean, it was a Caden Ellis, James Pierce Jr. I mean, it was just a completely getting after the quarterback type of day and really impressive stuff from this defense. They gave their offense some chances, and unfortunately, the offense for the Falcons is just really up and down. One drive, they look incredible and unstoppable. Other drives, they don't look so impressive. They were 0 for 8 on third down, gave up 3 sacks of their own, had a fumble lost. Only had 26 minutes of time of possession compared to 40 for Indianapolis. Not a great day for the Falcons offense, but a really good day for the Falcons defense for, I mean, the most part outside of the Jonathan Taylor stuff. All in all, if the Colts can protect their quarterback and limit the turnovers, they should be fine. but they got to protect their quarterback better. It's back-to-back weeks of bad days for the offensive line. Next up, let's talk about the New York Jets defeating the Cleveland Browns 27-20. The bowl of two teams that do not want to win games is in favor of the Jets, and let's get this out the way. Justin Fields was terrible in this game. He was outright terrible. He got bailed out by some defensive play, some special teams play, all that stuff. Justin Fields was bad. 6 of 11 for 54 yards, a touchdown, a pick, 7 carries for 28 yards. He was bad. Breece Hall made a couple really nice big plays, both as a receiving threat too. He had a big catch for, I think, 40 plus yards and a touchdown. When you look at the receiving game, like, look at the numbers on your screen here. 1 catch for Breece Hall, 1 for Mason Taylor, 1 for Isaiah Williams. Garrett Wilson had a big old goose egg. That's terrible in my opinion. This is a pathetic showing from the offense outside of Breece Hall, but it's just bad. Justin Fields is probably the worst quarterback in football, if I'm being honest with you. And I get it, the Browns have a good defense, but my God, like, what are we doing here? But at the same time, the Browns, man, what are we doing? What is happening to this with the Browns team? How are you managing to lose a game like this? A game in which your defense gave up a total of 54 passing yards to Justin Fields. A game where they shut out Garrett Wilson. A game where Breece Hall did not have a insane 300-yard day. He had 83 running yards. Yet you still lose. I mean, that's crazy in my opinion. To me, I'm not advocating to fire your head coach. This is a fireable offense in my opinion, because this should not happen. I thought Gabriel was fine. I thought he was okay, but this is not a high potent offense. When the special teams or defense makes plays, you know, it's gonna be really difficult for Cleveland to do much about it because their offense just is not great. But I thought Quinshawn was fine. I thought Judy had a nice day. I thought Gabriel had a couple nice runs later in the game. But it's inexcusable to lose on a day where your defense gives up 169 total yards. I mean, that is just pathetic in my opinion. The special teams coach probably needs to get fired after this week because this is not the type of game. Shout out to the New York Jets. They're still fighting. I love the energy Aaron Glenn was showing on the sideline. Just, you know, really happy to see those guys smiling a little bit. But Justin Fields, my God, terrible. And I hate to be negative, but my God, terrible. Next up, let's talk about the New Orleans Saints defeating the Carolina Panthers 17-7. Man, Tyler Shock, I was unfamiliar with your game, buddy. 19 of 27 for 282 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a couple really nice throws out there. And, you know, look, I think we were all discounting this guy. And I'm going to throw myself in the bucket here. I think we were all discounting him and saying this is going to be a shitty quarterback. What a wasted pick. Terrible player. He balled out today. I'm not ready to crown him the franchise guy, the next Drew Brees or anything like that. But if he keeps playing at this level, I mean, hey, we might have a guy here. But all in all, I mean, he soundly outplayed Bryce Young. And I think that's something that Panthers fans might have to come to terms with. Even despite the fact the Panthers are a 5-5 ball club, Bryce Young has mostly been pretty mediocre this year. He's got a total of 1 game of over 200 passing yards. 6 of their games they've played, he's thrown an interception. I mean, his numbers aren't terrible. 61% completion percentage, 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, 7 picks. But for a #1 overall pick, Bryce is not playing great football. They're winning games, but I think they're winning games almost in spite of not having this really good passing offense. And you could say, well, it's Ted McMillan and that's it. I guess, but good quarterbacks can make up for not having great players around them. I mean, look, Tyler Shock just threw for almost 300 yards, and he has Chris Olave and a bunch of nobodies next to him. So I'm not saying give up on Bryce, but I am saying that Bryce has not been great this year. Not at all. I think it's fair to say that, despite the fact they're 5-5, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, in this game, look, they ran the ball not great. Rico Dowdle did have a touchdown, but 18 for 53. Chuba Hubbard only a 3 for 14. Ted McMillan, 5 for 60. JT Sanders, 5 for 32. Good to see them getting some more action. I need to see more from them. I thought defensively, they held their opponent to 17 points. That's really all you can ask for. They created 2 turnovers. They only had 1 penalty on the day. You know, there's some things here to take away that are positive for Carolina, but when you have 175 total yards on the day, when you have an offensive head coach, a #1 overall pick at quarterback, now in his 3rd season, and a top, first round picks at receiver the past couple of years, and a expensive offensive line, 7 points versus one of the worst teams in football, that's bad. I mean, we just talked about the Browns having a fireable offense. I mean, this is kind of that level. I'm a little bit confused about this Panthers team because they're 5-5, but I have not been impressed with the Panthers in a lot of ways. I've been impressed with their defense. I've been impressed with, some of the plays they've made, the clutch moments, but this is bad. Shout out to New Orleans. I love the way that Tyler Shock played today. Chris Olave with the huge day. Alvin Kamara made a couple nice plays. By the way, that 4th down run where he scored it out of there, I thought that was quite impressive. I mean, Juwan Johnson had a couple nice plays out there. I thought Alontae Taylor looked great out there. I mean, they made some plays. So, if Tyler Shock continues to play like this and can build confidence from this game, cool stuff. Next up, let's talk about the New England Patriots defeating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 28-23. I got a question for you guys. Is New England Patriots a potential favorite in the AFC? Is that a conversation we're ready to have? Is it a conversation to really say the Patriots are not just playoff threats, but Super Bowl contenders? Because the Bucs are a great football team, and I thought the Patriots outplayed them the majority of the day. Not saying it was perfect or anything like that, and the Buccaneers are shorthanded without, Mike Evans and Bucky Irving, but still, they soundly outplayed them. It was a 14-10 ball game at halftime, and they just kind of pulled off this win. I mean, this was an impressive day for the entire team of New England. TreVeyon Henderson had 2 big runs, 2 big touchdowns, 14 carries for 147 yards. I feel like all the Patriots fans are like, we finally see TreVeyon Henderson on the field. I mean, this could be a bit of a game that says, hey, to Mike Vrabel, you got something here. Drake May, I thought, was pretty good. He did have an interception and wasn't the most efficient day, but 270 yards, 2 touchdowns. A big play to Kyle Williams for 72 yards. Really got to see his speed there. Mac Hollins had a nice day for 106 yards. Stephon Diggs had a couple of nice catches, including a touchdown grab. Gosh, I mean, New England, man, this is an impressive victory. I thought defensively they weren't great this day, but, I mean, they held Tampa Bay to 23 points. They didn't get a turnover. They only sacked Baker twice, but they forced him 5 of 13 on 3rd down and 0 for 1 on 4th down. You gave up 371 yards, but you had 435 of your own. I just, when we talk about the Bills here in a little bit, the Patriots are on a course here where they have an easy schedule. They're already 8-2. I mean, they could have a bye in the AFC. Think about that. In a division that has the Ravens, the Bills, a conference, I should say, that has the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, Chargers, the Broncos, all these really good teams, all these great players. The Patriots could have a bye. I mean, you're looking at their schedule now. The Jets next week on Thursday Night Football should win that one. The Bengals without Joe Burrow, fun game. They can score points. Patriots should still win. The Giants, very winnable game. You got a rematch versus Buffalo, and as we all know, they won the first one. We'll see if they can win the second one. You got the Ravens late in the season, but then you ended off with the Jets and the Dolphins. Even if you lose to the Bills and to the Ravens, you have 4 losses on the season. You're 13-4. You are probably gonna be the AFC first seed, unless the Colts can, win this thing out, which is possible because they're really good. But if you just lose one more game the rest of the way, you're 14-3, and you're in great shape to be the number 1 seed. I mean, who would have thought that the Patriots are in potentially the driving seat to be the number 1 seed in the AFC? Not just winning the AFC East, but potentially being the AFC leader. That's crazy to think about. Shout out to that team. Shout out to Mike Vrabel. My God, he's doing a whale of a job. As for the Bucs side of things, I mean, look, the Patriots are a great team. And so this is just a tough loss for a Bucs team that has shown that they can play. I mean, they're a good ball club. I thought Baker looked really good out there today. 28 of 43 for 3 touchdowns. Emeka Egbuka, I mean, put him in the Pro Bowl, make him an All-Pro. He's a superstar. They are desperately missing Bucky Irving. And I think once they get Bucky Irving back, this offense will become much more balanced, much more what they want to be. But without Bucky Irving being there, you're relying on Rachaad White, who's just not great. Sean Tucker, 9 for 53. He had a nice day, but it's not Bucky Irving. You're missing that guy. And look, you gave up some big explosive plays out there. I mean, a huge play to Kyle Williams, multiple big plays to TreVeyon Henderson. You clean that up because I know you can. I think Tampa Bay is still good, but there's some really good teams in the NFC this year. Next up, let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens defeating the Minnesota Vikings 27-19. So I got a couple thoughts in this game. For starters, I wasn't terribly impressed with the Ravens in this one. I felt like it was just kind of an okay day offensively. Lamar 17 of 29, 176 and a touchdown. Derrick Henry 20 for 75. Flowers 4 catches for 75. Just an okay offensive day. Wasn't bad. They didn't make mistakes. Only 5 penalties on the day. No turnovers. Only punted the ball 5 times. I didn't think it was an inspiring offensive performance, but you did score 27 points. Your offense made enough plays to keep up in this one. What do we do in Minnesota is my big question, though. I mean, what are we doing? This offense is terrible. I mean, especially this week. Last week, they got by. They made some plays. McCarthy made some nice throws, but it wasn't a great day for the offense. It wasn't a great day for McCarthy. I don't want to give up on McCarthy because McCarthy is a rookie, essentially. But I would be lying to you if I told you that I'm feeling good about him and his future as the starter for this team. I'd be lying. Because when Drake May was a rookie, you could tell there was something there. When Caleb Williams was a rookie, you could tell there's something there. Same with, even Jackson Dart right now. Not necessarily Cam Ward as much, but when you can sort of tell. I'm not seeing it with JJ. I'm just not. He'll make a couple nice throws, and he made some for sure. I thought that touchdown to Jalen Naylor was a dime. I just don't see it with him. I'm sorry, and I hate to be negative Nancy. And it wasn't like he played horrendously out there. 20 of 42 for 248, a touchdown. He led the team in rushing yards. I mean, this team has no ground game this year. But something about him. He's a little inaccurate at times. I feel like the playmaking ability is not particularly great. Maybe I'm just being a little bit negative after seeing this game, but you had a great chance to get a win here, and this team blew it. Now, I also want to say this. In defense of JJ McCarthy, the running backs were terrible today. The offensive line was not particularly great. Wasn't bad, but it wasn't particularly great. And the penalties. You are at home, and you had 13 penalties for 102 yards and 3 turnovers. I mean, it was killer. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings season, for all intents and purposes, is, they're 4-5. It's kind of over. Yes, you got a big win versus the Lions, but I mean, you're 4-5. With 5 losses, you can really only afford 1 or 2 more losses. 2 is pushing it, probably more like 1. And that's just not going to happen with this team. So for all intents and purposes, their season's kind of over at this point. Now you're just trying to build with JJ McCarthy. I think the rest of the way, McCarthy's going to have to prove it to me that he can be the guy. Because today, while he made a couple of nice plays, I just came away thinking, I just don't know. That's what I came away thinking about McCarthy today. Big win for the Ravens, though. They're right back in the thick of things for that division. They're 4-5. They've won the last 3. The season is far from over for that team, despite the fact they didn't play great today, especially offensively. But defensively, they're figuring their stuff out. So shout out to them. Next up, let's talk about the upset of the week. The Miami Dolphins defeat the Buffalo Bills 30-13. Boy, if you told me that the Bills would lose 30-13, I'd be stunned. And here we are. Buffalo they're in serious threat here by New England. You got a matchup with them later in the season where you might be able to push them away a little bit. But they're now 2-2 within their division with a loss to New England and now a loss to Miami. And New England's undefeated in the division, and they have a really easy schedule. So they're going to have to clean up their act and hope that potentially the Patriots start to struggle a little bit, or else you're going to be on the wild card. And look, Buffalo's they haven't been great lately. They have not been great at all. I mean, yes, you blew out the Panthers. You got to win versus the Chiefs. Good wins, but they're 2-3 in their last 5 games, including a loss to the Patriots, a loss to Miami, a loss to Atlanta. You beat up on the Panthers, who didn't have Bryce Young. I'll give you that. And you beat the Chiefs. Really impressive win. But it almost felt like they sleptwalked through this game with their eyes fully focused on the Buccaneers and the Texans in future weeks. I mean, look, their future schedule is pretty difficult when you look at it. I mean, I think they're going to win some of these games, but they got Tampa Bay next. They got Houston. They got the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got the Patriots later in the year. They also have the Eagles late in the season. I'm not saying they're going to miss the playoffs or anything like that. I think they'll maybe lose 2-3 games at most, which means they'll be in the wild card still. But I don't know. This game just felt like a bunch of mistakes, some bad turnovers. It was raining in their defense, so it did favor the Dolphins, but it wasn't like the Dolphins played great or anything like that. Tua had 2 interceptions. They had a total of just 370 yards, 3 for 9 on third down, 19 total first downs. But you didn't really get after the quarterback well. They protected Tua nicely. And Devon Achane had a couple just huge runs out there. And Jalen Waddle had a nice day too. So I don't know, Buffalo, man. This was a bad loss, a loss you really could not afford. And I mean, you just have opened the door and said, go right ahead to the Patriots to win this division. As for the Dolphins, cool win. I'm glad you're still fighting. I don't think this changes much for your team unless they go on a crazy run to end the season. Because this team, probably new quarterback, probably new head coach. I mean, that's all happening. But still, it's nice to see that they're still fighting, so good for them. And the weather definitely helped them for sure. Next up, let's talk about the New York Giants losing to the Chicago Bears. I got one thing to say. Is there a more hated person by Giants fans than Russell Wilson? Because Russell Wilson has got to be public enemy number 1 for what he did earlier in the season and then what he had just done in this game. The Giants were in the driving seat. They were winning this football game. It was 20-10 in the fourth quarter, and you're winning. And all you have to do is just put together a couple drives, chew the clock, make enough plays out there, and just pull off this win. It wasn't like Chicago was playing great today. And what does Russell Wilson do? 3 for 7 for 45 yards, had a number of bad plays, just was terrible. They couldn't run the ball, terribly well, especially when Russell Wilson was out there. I thought Jackson Dart was fantastic today. I mean, I thought he was really, really good. 19 for 29 for 242, 6 for 66 running the ball with 2 touchdowns. I thought he was really good. And he's doing this without Neighbors, without Scatabo. I'll give him his flowers. I thought Dart was great. But Giants fans fucking hate Russell Wilson. And I kind of can't blame them. Like when they were booing Russell Wilson a few weeks ago, when Dart went to the medical tent, I was like, guys, leave Wilson alone. Nah. Go right ahead, boo the guy, because my God, you had a great chance to get a win versus the Chicago Bears team. Go to 3-7, feel a little bit better about yourself. Give Brian Dable some job security. Make Jackson Dart look great. Have him dancing in the end zone, and then Russell Wilson happens. Jackson Dart, come back healthy. You played well this game. Your future's super bright. Russell Wilson, go to a different team after this year. Just go elsewhere. Do not resign. Let Jameis be the backup. In fact, if I'm the Giants, I'm not starting Russell Wilson another snap. I'm letting Jameis Winston play next week if Jackson Dart can't go. Now for the Bears side of things, boy, what a ugly game. You are 6-3, but your defense just gave up 430 yards. And your offense had 10 points heading into the fourth quarter. Now, give them their flowers. They made plays. They did enough to win this game, but this was ugly. I mean, very, very ugly. And look, I hate to be a, revisionist history guy, but when you look back to what the Bears have done this year, and I think I said this a couple videos ago, but they have a loss to the Vikings, a loss to the Lions. Their victories are a blowout win versus Dallas, a 1-point win versus Las Vegas, a 1-point win versus the Commanders, a double-digit win versus the Saints. And their losses are to the Ravens, and you have a win versus the Bengals and a win versus the Giants. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying, you have not beaten a good team this year, besides maybe the Washington Commanders, but Washington just got blown out by the Lions. So I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger. Just saying, you're 6-3. You're right in the mix of things for that division. You are a Lions-Packers slip up away from being the leader of the division, so we'll give you that one, but some stuff to work on. I thought Caleb made some nice plays late, but there was a couple of times where it's like, damn, bro, you got a dude wide open. Just hit the guy. Why are you dancing around? Just hit the throw. And that's going to be the learning curve for Caleb Williams in this Ben Johnson system. Ben wants a robot. Caleb is Superman. It's a really tough mixture to fit in there. So Bears got some work to do, but they're 6-3. An ugly victory is better than an ugly loss. Quote of the day. Next up, let's talk about the Houston Texans defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars 36-29. First off, shout out to Davis Mills, man. Huge day for him. 27-45 for 292, 2 touchdowns and a pick. It felt like after the third quarter that they were going to lose and Davis Mills was just going to kind of go out on a whimper. I mean, it was, 29-10 heading into the fourth? And then Houston just said, nah, we have arrived. Made all types of plays, special teams, defense, and also Davis Mills. Really ugly game for the Jaguars, especially in the fourth quarter. You're up 29-10. You're up 29-10. You're a 3-loss ball club heading into this game. You're getting ready to go 6-3 and start looking at a wild card spot. And then you slip up. You just lose focus. You make mistakes. You have some turnovers. You play bad on special teams. You play bad on defense. You play bad on offense. It just takes one quarter. That's all it takes. And that's what happened today. I thought Trevor was okay. Look, it's the same conversation I've had about a couple of these quarterbacks. Trevor is not blowing me away, man. He's just not. I mean, he was 13 of 23 for 158, a touchdown and a pick, and he's just not blowing me away. I get it. I mean, look, he got sacked multiple times. Daniil Hunter, damn near took his lunch money today. 5 sacks today, 9 penalties. They also had a fumble. But, when you're leading an offense that has a total of 213 yards, that's tough. I get it. No Travis Hunter. I understand. BTJ, not there. Jacoby Myers just came in a few days ago. I get it. But, man, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. As for Houston, man, shout out to that defense. It was a rough day at points. But, man, look, you had 2 turnovers. You had 5 sacks. You forced them 4 of 11 on third down. I know the Jaguars scored 29 points, but I thought the Texans defense did some really nice things. And I thought the Texans offense, they got rolling in that fourth quarter. Shout out Jaden Higgins. I thought he had a couple really nice grabs. Shout out Nico Collins. He had a great day. Shout out Woody Marks. And shout out Davis Mills. This was a huge game for Houston because they don't have a ton of wiggle room now to lose games. So getting a win like this, you're going to get Stroud back eventually, could be a momentum building type of thing for them. And you look forward to their schedule. they got some tough matchups up ahead. So you're going to have to start to pull some things off here. But all that said, though, look, the Texans, I think they're probably still out of the playoffs at this point. Their schedule's brutal. And Jaguars, tough loss, man. Tough loss. Next up, let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks defeating the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, this game was over by the halfway point of the second quarter. I'll give the Cardinals some credit. They showed a little bit of life in the third quarter and late first half. I mean, they made a couple plays, but the game was damn near over. I mean, when it was like 28-0 or something like that, I can't remember the exact score. I mean, the game was done. I mean, I think it was 35-0 at one point, actually. I mean, what a stinker for the Cardinals. You make the move to put Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, and I thought he was fine today. I mean, he wasn't terrible. He made some plays, had a couple of nice touchdowns, but the game was just, I mean, the momentum was taken basically the second the Seahawks took the field. 2 touchdowns by DeMarcus Lawrence, 2 touchdowns caused by, I think, Tyrese Knight making some nice plays, the linebacker. Give them their flowers, man. I mean, the Cardinals were coming off a huge win last week, have all the momentum in the world after a big time win. You got Jacoby Brissett as the starter. Things are looking bright. And they just, I mean, they get punched right in the face and they have to respond. And Seattle just, I mean, bullied them the entire day. Sam Darnold had some nice plays. Did have an interception. Got to clean that up. But he wasn't really asked to do a whole bunch today. JSN was JSN. He was his usual self. Zach Charbonnet had some nice plays, including a touchdown. Defensively, give the game ball to DeMarcus Lawrence. In fact, give it to Knight, because he forced the fumbles. I mean, D-Law just scored the touchdowns. Give those guys both game balls. Huge day for them. Shout out to Trey McBride. Thought he had a nice day. I thought Brissett fought back. I thought the Cardinals in general fought back, but it was just, I mean, it was too much to handle. I will say the Cardinals are without a number of starters defensively. And in fact, I think both their starting corners were out today. So that happened, but it's not an excuse to get beat up like this. Big time question for the Seattle Seahawks. Are they now the favorites in the NFC? Because I think they have a chance. They're definitely one up for sure. They're looking really good. Next up, let's talk about the LA Rams getting a big time win versus the San Francisco 49ers. Big time response here for the LA Rams because look, a couple weeks ago, you lost to the Niners. And it was a bad loss too because the Niners didn't have their guys. They had Brock Purdy out. Kendrick Bourne was their number 1. I mean, a number of guys missing, and they needed to respond from that game. They needed to get this one because if the Rams went 0-2 versus the Niners, would have been a bad look. And they did not do that. They dominated from basically start to finish. I thought Stafford was just incredible. In fact, man, he's probably the favorite right now for MVP. I mean, he was incredible today. Multiple touchdown throws, multiple sidearm throws, just was fantastic. Devontae Adams had a nice day. Puka Nacua made some plays. Kyron Williams looked much better today. Obviously, versus San Francisco a few weeks ago, had the fumbling issues. Not so much today. I mean, it was just a really dominant performance from start to finish. So to the LA Rams, look, I think there's still some stuff they can clean up defensively because Mac Jones was kind of dotting them up for a lot of this game. When this offense gets going, they're one of the toughest teams in the league to beat. So shout out to the LA Rams. They're just right there with Seattle, where it's like they might be the front runners in the NFC. As for the Niners side of things, the defense is really starting to fall apart a little bit. Now, granted, the Rams have one of the best offenses in football with a ton of experience, a lot of continuity, chemistry, playmakers. I understand that. 42 points, though, that's tough. I mean, that's really tough. Making Stafford look like an MVP. Kyron Williams looking great. Devontae Adams. It's tough. Without Nick Bosa, without Fred Warner, without Mustafa, without all your guys, it's tough. They just don't have the guys on the defense at this point. Look, I thought Mac Jones was pretty freaking good. Very efficient for most of the day. Brian Robinson had some nice plays. George Kittle, I'm glad he responded. Jawan Jennings looked good. McCaffrey did not run the ball well today. And I said this, I believe, in my predictions video where I talked about the Niners go as Christian McCaffrey goes. You can kind of see that in this game. CMC, not the greatest day. Did well in the past games, over 50 yards receiving the football, but just not really an efficient day running the football. Got to clean that up. You're still in the mix for the wild card. The injuries, though, you can start to feel the effect pulling them down now. We'll see if they can get a bit more healthy on the offensive end. I don't know what's going on with Purdy. I really don't know. I wonder if maybe they're holding him back because Mac Jones is playing so well. We'll wait and see, though. Shout out to Mac Jones. I thought he played well. Shout out to the Rams, man. Big time victory. Big time victory. And lastly, let's talk about the Detroit Lions getting a huge win versus the Washington Commanders. Now, if you guys want to hear my opinions on Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football, follow me on X, follow me on Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and follow me on Instagram. I'll put some thoughts out there when we get to that point. Look, the Commanders, without their starting quarterback, it's always going to be tough. This defense for Washington has been bad for the majority of the year, not just as a run defense, but mainly as a pass defense. They're just not good this year. They look slow. They don't have a lot of explosiveness. They don't have enough guys. They're going to need to, I don't want to say overhaul this unit, but they're going to have to find some serious ammunition this offseason in the secondary as well as on the defensive line. I mean, look, they're a 3-7 football team now. Their season, for all intents and purposes, is basically over. I would not rush back Jaden Daniels. There's really no point in doing so. Mariota's a good backup quarterback. He looked good out there today, made a couple nice plays. They're just not a good football team. They're banged up in the receiving core. They don't have an incredible ground game. The offensive line's not particularly great. They're just not good enough. They were last year because they were the hot shots. Everything was new. It was a fresh new team, young quarterback, spicy defense with a ton of new pieces. It just didn't carry over this year. So you need to start looking now as your long-term plan. What do we do next year? What do we do the year after that? So if it's me, I'm giving some young guys some shots here, and I'm starting to look at the trade market and all that stuff. As for Detroit, really good response here for Detroit. Bad loss last week versus the Vikings. It's been an up and down year for them, frankly. Some weeks they look great. Some weeks they look bad. This week they looked really good. Defensively, there's still some things to clean up. I really thought Mariota had a nice day passing the football. Granted, a lot of it was in kind of dead time when the game was basically over. But still, some things to clean up. You got to get healthy in the back end. That's the big thing. I thought Jared Goff was great. Multiple touchdowns, efficient football. Over 300 yards. Jamison Williams, multiple big plays, had over 100 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, huge day for him. It's going to be important now for the Lions to start to gain some of their mojo back. Start to get into a rhythm because they've been so up and down this year with some losses that, frankly, they probably should have won. They got the big game versus the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football this week. Huge game for them. This is going to be a game that kind of tells us potentially who is the front runner in this conference. So with all that said, huge victory. And what a great week of football. Some really good football games, some great play on both sides, some big time defensive performances. So in the comment section below, your players of the week, your teams of the week, let me know down below. Hit the like and subscribe button. Love you guys. Peace.